Hey, and welcome to That's Not Okay, the podcast where we spot the red flags and reclaim our love lives. I'm Alyssa, and today we're talking about when toxic people turn others against you. So, have you ever felt like someone declared war on your sanity, but sent others to fight it for them? This episode exposes how toxic people avoid direct confrontation and accountability by using others to carry out their manipulation. We're going to cover topics like smearing, flying monkeys, triangulation, and gaslighting through comparison and minimization, all tactics that pull in reference to or the involvement of other people in order to make you question yourself or to have you lose support. For survivors of this kind of treatment, this episode will provide validation, language, and tips to reclaim your power. And for perpetrators, for people who maybe didn't know they were engaging in toxic behavior, this episode is going to be a moment of clarity and accountability and a call to change. This, again, as I've said through every episode, nobody's hopeless. Everyone can change if they really want to. And so this is for you as well. So I guess first I want to talk about why toxic people do this. I have experienced it myself and wondered if I deserved it because my behavior called for that kind of treatment. And for myself and for anyone who's experienced this kind of treatment, no healthy relationship weaponizes other people in order to put you in place or punish you. So that is just not debatable. This shouldn't be happening in a good relationship. So if you're experiencing these kinds of things, it's not your fault. Please know that. And why people do this, why toxic people engage in this, the first reason is they fear accountability. So toxic people often have really fragile egos, and taking ownership of harm threatens their sense of self. Instead of engaging in introspection and wondering whether they maybe caused the rift in your relationship or something, they deflect by controlling the narrative and framing themselves as the victim. So pulling in other parties helps them to validate their distorted perspective of themselves and you. And again, they need to control the story. Image is everything. If they sense that they're losing control of how others see them, they go on a smear campaign to protect their persona. So if you've seen through them and maybe you named behaviors that were problematic and they don't want to take accountability for that, they reinforce their ego by going to others and saying and getting the validation that they need, but also discrediting you, having others say, "Oh, she's or he's crazy," to say anything about you. So this is helping them to feed their ego, and it shapes how you're remembered before you even get a chance to speak. Others will be less likely to hear you. Many of us believe the first thing we hear, and so it's just kind of preemptively discrediting you. Toxic people avoid intimacy and vulnerability. Honest conversations require emotional maturity, a willingness to reflect on your own behavior, and these individuals fear rejection so much, so they act out through others to keep their emotional distance. Like they don't have to really get close to you and hear what you're feeling and the pain they've caused you, or share what they really think of you. So they pull in other people to keep them from needing you or being close to you. It's just easier to make you the villain than risk feeling like they are the bad guy. Toxic people often thrive on chaos. So several of these tactics we're going to discuss that pull in other parties create confusion and keep everyone off balance. This confusion gives them power because no one knows who to trust or where the truth lies. It just creates a big vacuum of mess. And for some reason, this validates a lot of toxic people, probably because they're broken attachment styles. They are used to thriving, or not thriving, but surviving in chaos. This is familiar territory. And sadly, a lot of people mistake familiarity with safety. And that is absolutely not true. And finally, going back to the dysfunction, like they were raised in dysfunction. So many of these behaviors were modeled for them from childhood. They may have grown up learning to manipulate in order to survive, and they never learned direct, healthy communication. That is not an excuse, but it's a starting point for change if they're willing, like to look back and say, you know what? Maybe what was modeled for me from my parents, from my family members, was actually harmful to our relationship as a nuclear family and how I'm treating others. So in short and in sum, toxic people weaponize people because they fear being seen. Control isn't about power necessarily, it's about hiding. So how do they do this? What strategies do toxic people typically use, or what have you experienced in your relationships? Well, one of the first tactics they might use is the smear campaign. That's where they talk about you behind your back in order to undermine your reputation in secret, to erode support for you and control the narrative. The tactics they might use are telling others distorted half-truths to make you look unstable, cruel, or overly emotional and unreasonable. They typically claim to be concerned about you to others while planting doubt in others' minds. So that's how they make themselves look benevolent and merciful, is they say they care about you and love you, but they just don't know why you are behaving the way you do. And this helps the other person to see them as kind of a caring person, but it's really just manipulation. Why do they do this? Again, to preemptively discredit you in case you speak up against their behaviors, and to isolate you and retain social control. You are way less confident when you feel alone in your perceptions of reality. So it's a power play. If they were really just concerned, they wouldn't be whispering, they'd be helping. So please remember that. They'd be coming to you and telling you what they're concerned about, and you all could have a mature conversation. They would not be gossiping about you behind your back. And if you are the third party hearing gossip about someone, question everything. Don't, just question everything. Be as neutral as possible if you can be in these situations. The second tactic is called flying monkeys. I promise I didn't make these things up. They are real documented strategies that I recently read a book that said it's like these toxic people all use the same playbook. They all read from the same playbook. These strategies are very common. It's just, I guess, how manipulation is integrated into the human condition. These are the things that work, and so they're what toxic people use. But flying monkeys is where a toxic person uses other people who either knowingly or unknowingly do the toxic person's bidding against you. So these flying monkeys, the person will say, oh, will you just talk to so-and-so, they're being really unreasonable, or I'm worried about them, will you talk to them? And so these other people get corralled into your relationship dynamic with the toxic person, and you feel overpowered and outnumbered. These people may be well-intended. They may just be trying to help, but they often lack the full story or the true story. They just have the toxic person's perspective. And they may guilt you, they may question you, or pressure you to reconcile. Because again, even well-meaning people, when they give advice, good advice doesn't necessarily or even frequently apply in these abusive, toxic relationships. So these flying monkeys can be extremely harmful. It can be a pastor. It can be a family member. Like, it is meant to break you down and make you question yourself. The psychological impact is feeling ganged up on and doubting your reality. It's very effective. And again, just to reiterate, not some flying monkeys, the people who are doing the toxic person's bidding, some of them are actually aware and they know they're doing something harmful. I've actually had someone acknowledge in the moment, a flying monkey in my own life, like, oh, I know you feel gaslit right now. Like, sometimes they know what's going on. They know what they're doing, and maybe they just are too loyal to the person to go against them. They're too protective of their family, or to really reconcile, like, I can love this person and recognize that they're actually kind of harmful. Or maybe they just can't even believe that there's harm involved in the actions, but they might know how it's coming across. But some people are not being malicious. That doesn't mean, though, that their impact isn't harmful. Even well-intended people can be harmful. So when someone sends others to, quote, reason with you, ask who gave them the script. Like, why do they think you need reasoning with? And you might get to the source of it. So stay strong in those times. The third strategy used by toxic people is triangulation. So that's where a toxic person avoids direct communication and instead brings in a third party to control, manipulate, or punish. Like that would be like, instead of saying to you, hey, you hurt my feelings, going to someone else so that they won't be friends with you anymore, so that they, like, basically, again, I mean, these all kind of tie together, but they kind of gang up on you, so to speak. So it might be telling you what others have said about you, like, so that you think, oh, the water well's poisoned against me. It might be pitting you against someone else to breed jealousy or insecurity. Or it might be going to others about your problems instead of you. And the psychological goal here is to keep you off balance and competing for their approval. Healthy people have conversations. Toxic people stage performances. So if you can kind of in the moment realize, like, this all started between me and Joe, and Joe went to Trisha, and now it's some big drama, like that's not supposed to be the way it is. And you might even be the witness of someone, and it's not healthy. No matter what you say, like, oh, they just needed to vent steam. They just needed to, like, there are times if you're the toxic person, or if you're with the toxic person, they're probably not safe to go to. That's valid. But if you see someone where they have people you otherwise think are, like, healthy and normal, and they are gossiping about those healthy, normal people behind their back, imperfect people, but, like, generally normal people, reasonable people who can take responsibility for their actions, you might be dealing with someone who's triangulating and trying to, like, build an army against that person, where they are now no longer, I guess, seen as healthy and normal, which is not okay. And finally, I want to talk about how other parties can be used to gaslight through comparison and minimization. So even if an actual third party is not pulled in, references to other people can be used to minimize your experience. So, like, saying, oh, other people have it way worse. Like, the toxic person might just say, it's not that bad. You're being too sensitive. Like, those kinds of things are invalidating and make you think less of yourself or less of your experience. And so they can definitely make you question and feel like you lack sure footing on feeling upset about something. Those are not healthy friendship conversations to have. Your experience is valid, and others' experience or how they would react is irrelevant. Or like, so, minimizing your experience is absolutely gaslighting, because it's not actually relevant. And then comparing you to others, like saying things like, oh, so-and-so never complains, or why can't you be more like so-and-so? Or if someone else was in this situation, they would react this way. Or they put up with me. What's your problem? No one else has a problem with me. Like, these things are just a total distraction, and they, again, are designed to make you feel guilty for having needs and boundaries. You are a unique person, and as long as you're not being abusive to others, asserting your needs and boundaries in a healthy way, you deserve to be treated how you want to be treated. And so those types of things are just designed to make you question yourself, question the morality of your standards, make you feel ridiculous, or like your needs and expectations are just astronomically high. And that is manipulative, and it's gaslighting, and it's abusive. When your pain becomes a competition or an inconvenience, it's not love. People who truly love you want to hear what's hurting you, want to validate you. They may not fully understand it, but they will ask you real questions that aren't designed to make you feel guilty for having your needs. So here is how to stay resilient when others don't believe you. Like, when you've had this go on and other people are no longer, quote, supporting you or on your side, and you just feel ganged up on, trust your lived experience. I know that's hard. We are social creatures designed to be embraced and loved. But gaslighting thrives where self-doubt grows. I've even experienced this, like, where even my own mother was turned against me at times, through the toxic, manipulative person in my life. It is extremely isolating and painful, and you really lose yourself in those moments. So you've got to just find ways to incorporate truth back into your mind and life, no matter who gets turned against you, because they can love you and mean well and still not be... These toxic people are just powerful. That's all I'll say on that. So document and journal. Written validation matters when your words are twisted. So journaling, my therapist just told me, like, journaling can be as solid and helpful as therapy because it grounds you. It helps you to process your experience, what you've seen and thought, and it helps you to see it as real. Like, I wrote this down, therefore it means something. It has weight in this world, and nobody can twist your written word as easily. So write down what you're experiencing. If you're constantly feeling like, am I crazy? Write down your words, journal, document the things you see. There is a chance that you're being gaslit and manipulated. Don't explain your truth to those committed to misunderstanding it. I've definitely made this mistake, believing that I can reason with people. They must just not understand me. But the more you try, the more frustrated you're going to get. There's a Bible verse that says, don't cast your pearls to pigs. They will trample them, then turn around and destroy you. I've been a pearl caster. I didn't want to acknowledge that people were pigs. It is so hard to believe that people you love and care about lack character, or may even be willing to hurt you for the things that make you special, or for you shining too brightly, or for you being caring and compassionate. So just recognize that your truth is a pearl, and if people are constantly trying to tarnish it, and I say your truth, I mean the truth. Your perceptions are valid. Do not let someone take that away from you or twist it around. Find safe people, even if it's just one. I've had tons of success using the BFF app, through filtering by faith, through filtering and very careful, discretion. I found lovely, lovely people who helped me to remember, hey, I am reasonable and normal. My standards weren't crazy. I just wanted basic human decency, and the treatment I was receiving was objectively crazy. And that meant the world to me. It really has been life-changing. Additionally, like, I have a therapist, I have a team that I'm working with who are like there to support me as I heal. And so that makes all the difference. And all of them are helping me to reclaim my worth and my reality from dealing with people who made me question that. And remember, silence isn't weakness. Sometimes it's wisdom. And I say that very cautiously because stonewalling is never acceptable. Like, I don't mean giving someone the silent treatment, but sadly, there are people that you cannot continue a relationship with. You can be kind and cordial, but you've got to protect your inner heart and your inner self. And so that may mean having a difficult boundary conversation that says we can no longer speak. Like we can talk logistics, we can talk this, we can talk practicality, but we cannot continue to discuss our relationship. We cannot see each other in that capacity. And protecting your heart. Guard your heart. The Bible says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. I have been too generous with my heart. I've worn it on my sleeve. I've given it to everyone, and that's kind of my personality and my nature, but I'm trying to discipline myself so that I practice more discernment, and this can be helpful for you as well. For those who are using some of these tactics, if you recognize your tendency to pull in third parties to destroy a quote-unquote enemy or frenemy in the moment, ask yourself, like, do I recruit others to support my version of events rather than seeking resolution with the person who I have a dispute with? Do I minimize someone else's pain because it makes me feel guilty? Like saying things like, you're exaggerating, it's not that bad. What I've done is not, you're just dramatic. Like, think about it. Think about whether you avoid direct communication and manipulate others behind the scenes. Like, if someone comes to you with a quote grievance, do you hear them and say how you feel, like, or have room for what they perceive? Do you tell them like what you really think? Or do you just take it and then go and badmouth them behind their back? Like, oh, well, so-and-so is emotionally abusive. Like, she made me feel so bad and it was not reasonable. Like, are you willing to say that to their face? Or are you just fake and like talking and gossiping behind their backs so that you plant seeds of doubt in others' minds against the person that just came to you for like, as a friend in trust, to say, hey, I didn't like when such and such happened. This needs to adjust for our friendship to continue. So think about it and like challenge yourself. Are you like that? All those things are the opposite of humility. Like, don't be falsely humble. Don't victim narrative yourself. Like, that was just so cruel and unfair. Practice humility. Not everyone is attacking you when they're hurting. Like, if someone is sitting there and cussing you out, that's one thing. But if they are legitimately grieved by an action, then think about why. Maybe this is legitimate. Or maybe you all just lack shared values, and you will not, if you genuinely feel that way, then the end of the friendship is nigh. Like, let it go. If you think their standards truly are ridiculous, don't gossip about them behind their back. Say, I can't meet this standard and we're going to have to part ways. Just be authentic and practice humility in that way. Apologize. Oh my gosh. Some people consider apologizing like the end of the world. I've just been so shocked. It's like it shatters their identity to be wrong. This is definitely a narcissistic trait. Like, never apologize, never back down. But it's crazy. If you want healthy relationships, if you want to come back down to earth and be like, be healthy, just apologize. Care that someone's hurting. Like, that doesn't cost you anything. Don't deflect. Don't explain away. Don't minimize. Just be like, oh my gosh. Like, you know what? I can see how you saw it that way. Even if your intention wasn't bad, be like, you know what? I should be more careful about how my actions come across. I can definitely make that adjustment because I don't want to hurt you. This is a beautiful thing, and it's going to like raise your respect in their eyes. They're going to esteem you more. Like, it's going to be life-changing, and you will have deeper, more healthy and connected friendships that way. And when someone draws a boundary, when someone tells you no, respect it, even if it hurts your ego. Like, sure, all of us would like to do whatever we want, whenever we want, too. Like, but if somebody says no, like, that's them giving you a gift. Like, you are getting to know who they are. For example, like a friend and I went to eat, and I wanted to get an appetizer, and like, they didn't want that appetizer. And so I know this sounds petty and silly, but like, that's a no. And that's okay. Like, I'm like, oh, like, you know, they were apologetic. I'm like, oh my gosh, please no. Like, no big deal. And this, you know, you can extrapolate from that, like, so many lessons. Like, let people be themselves. If they, you know, like, this is in every way. Like, hey, I don't like when people do this or that, or like, I don't want to do this or that myself. Like, oh, well, let's do something we both like, you know, let it be. Or if you're not comfortable with me doing this, like, help me understand why, and like, let me grow as a person, as a friend. These are beautiful things. So if you need an audience to feel right about yourself, you are not ready to repair anything. Like, you should, that's a beautiful thing to recognize. If you're not okay in your own skin and you need others to validate you, then yeah, you're not going to be healthy in your relationships. You are going to continue to practice these unhealthy patterns. But I would implore and beseech you, make these changes. You will be a happier, healthier person, and you might thrive in your relationships after that. So to recap, toxic people often recruit others to destabilize, invalidate, and confuse. But you do not have to play along. You don't have to be the victim. You don't have to let this go on. Recognize it, and if you have that personality, you can name it, because I truly have learned naming something is actually powerful. In a very difficult situation, I was so pleased with myself because in the moment, real time, I was able to call things out that were happening to me. Like, that was, hey, saying this about me behind my back was character assassination. Like, why would you say this about me? It was absolutely not true based on what I was sharing, and this is why. And so being able to name what I was experiencing, the manipulation, the gossiping, the harming my reputation in order to harm relationship, was wrong. And I felt so good, though, to be able to say it in the moment. Even if it didn't change the person I was dealing with, it changed me. I was able to say it, and I knew it was true in the moment. So that was very empowering. And just remember, you are not too much, you are not crazy, and you are not alone. No matter how many people get recruited against you in your family, your own relatives, your in-laws, your friends, sadly, you may just have to start fresh, make new friends, build new relationships, and wait for the truth to bear itself out. You just cling tight to your character and who you know you are. You are not crazy. And when they build a team to fight you, don't build a team to fight back. Don't get down and dirty. Don't meet them where they're at. You stay high. You just shine, and you be yourself, and build your identity in your faith, in relationships that are healthy, and start building a life they can't reach, protect yourself. So thank you so much for listening to the That's Not Okay podcast. Please reach out. I would love to hear from you, any feedback. And if you need validation and support, I'm happy to be there. And just remember, just because it's familiar does not make it okay. Thanks again. Bye.